Welcome to East Middle School. I don't know about you, but that just felt good. With us this morning is 492 incredible young people, the students of EMS. You guys rock. I also want to recognize some people with us tonight, which is our Bright Future partners from U.S. Bank, from Wildwood Baptist Church, from from Kyle Hickam. So these people are very, very important in the function and the mission of our school, so thank you. Also, our PTO officers are here, so let's give them a hand for thanking us. It has been 2.5 years waiting and watching, but the day has come. Our young eagles are home. And this is what these past few days have felt like. Such a relaxed atmosphere. This is our home. We recently asked the students what the building feels like, and their remarks were, it's kind of like the mall. Kind of feels like anything but being at school. Like someone's house. And I think when you walk through our building, you're going to see that and you're going to feel that. I wish everyone could have seen the look on these guys' faces when they first stepped in to this building. You talk about eyes wide open. The comments from the teachers on that first day, the kids just seemed to be on fire. That was the level of excitement. And as each day goes by, the more student comments the more students comment on how they just love this school. And just last Tuesday, we hosted our first home basketball game. That's right, a home basketball game. And earlier, that Friday before, we had a pep assembly that looked like a real pep assembly. So we were stoked about that. Folks, those are the things that go into making a school, and we're so thankful. First, I want to thank our patrons who said yes, that our students deserve the best learning spaces that can be developed. This middle school is different because school leaders challenged our design teams to think of the future and not the past. We visited several schools and even was able to go out to Apple headquarters, and that turned out to be a very significant trip. I recall dropping by and watching Jordan's disposal tearing down the walls of East Middle School, and I was only in that building for a year. I began to imagine what would rise up from all this debris. Well, here we sit on that same site. Wow. What a school we have here. We very much appreciate our temporary home that grew to be called the warehouse. Smell and all. We appreciated that. The effort that summer to build a place that we could teach in it was a monumental effort by the folks from Crossland. I want to recognize them for that effort. 55 days and we had a school, and we started on time. I have to share one thing. After the first day in the building, our band teacher said the comments that he got were, "We sound different here." And he told me, he said, "Well, you're in a real band room, kids." So anyway, thank you. We appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Jeff Flowers, the president of our school board.
Well, I've got a big smile on my face. I'm very excited. I can see you are too. Well, for the third time since August of 2009, we're going to cut a ribbon on a brand new East Middle School. So for the students, parents, and teachers, you will no longer have to travel to Far East as the temporary facility had come to be known. So while I was preparing to write this speech, I was remembering each of the previous 2 ribbon cuttings and thinking of the excitement that surrounded each of those. But I have to tell you, I don't believe that excitement is as great as what I sense is here today. Each of the students and teachers here today deserves to be commended for their perseverance, for their positive attitude, and for their ability to teach and to learn in a temporary facility 1/3 the size of their original school. So I say thank you for that. So I have some introductions I have to do, so we'll do those real quick. First off, I'd like to introduce my Vice President of the Board of Education, Mr. Mike Landis. Miss Annie Sharp. Mr. Jim Kimbrough. Mr. Randy Steele. Mr. Phil Wilcoxon. And Miss Dawn Stickland. I would also like to recognize Dr. C.J. Huff, Superintendent of Joplin Schools. And I don't believe he's here, but Mr. Mike Johnson, Director of Construction. But I'd also like to recognize Dr. Huff's leadership team. If you guys could all stand, I would appreciate it. Thank you. I'd also like to recognize Dr. Angie Bessendorfer. I remember within hours of the tornado, she was on the phone finding a place for all of you to go to school. And I remember that very vividly, and all of those conversations and the number of phone calls she made to make sure that we had a temporary facility ready for all of you. Thank you, Dr. Bessendorfer. I would also like to recognize Mayor Melody Colbert Keene, the City of Joplin. And I know I saw some of the Joplin City Council members. I know I see Mike. I'd like to recognize you. I'd also like to recognize Mr. Denny White, Mayor, City of Duquesne. And so now on to my thank yous. My first thank you has to go to the voters of Joplin, Duquesne, and Dunaweg for approving the bond issue that allowed us to build this school. So to them, I say thank you very much. Secondly, I want to say thank you to the teachers, students, parents for making do in the temporary facilities since the tornado. Today is for you. And lastly, I would like to thank the custodial crew and the community members that volunteered out here to get this school ready and to move in over the holidays. Thank you very much. This is an unbelievable day, and I feel honored to be able to present this incredible school to the students of the Joplin School District. And in closing, I would like to thank everybody that was involved in making this dream a reality. Thank you very much. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce the Superintendent of the Joplin Schools, Dr. C.J. Huff.
I've got a lot of things to say. I'm going to try to keep my comments brief, though. Really proud of all of you. I would like to take this opportunity to ask all the teachers from East Middle School, all the educators, principals, administrators, secretaries, please stand for a moment. Now, you guys think you've moved a lot. Some of these folks started out in Old South Middle School, then we built the brand new East Middle School that they moved into. Were there for about 2 years and unfortunately lost it. Moved out to our temporary Far East Middle School, and now they're moving back home to East, their new East Middle School. And they've worked tirelessly to ensure that you guys have been provided a high quality education, have worked so hard, and I'm so proud of them and all the work that they've done over the last 3 years in particular to take care of our kids. And thank you again for your good work. Now, over the last 3 years, I've made a lot of new friends, people that I never thought I'd ever have the opportunity to meet. I've had the opportunity to meet. I've made friends at the federal level, state level, at the local level. I've met volunteers that I would have never have met otherwise, and feel so blessed to have been touched by so many good people. But today I have the distinct privilege of introducing to you Miss Libby Turner. Libby Turner was a federal coordinating officer for FEMA that worked with us very closely in helping us get our schools back online again. And the thing I would tell you about Miss Turner, if you wouldn't mind go ahead and coming up, Miss Turner. I was really excited when she came to town, and I believe she was here on Thursday after the tornado and started working closely with us shortly thereafter. She has a unique gift. She may not realize it, but she may be bilingual for real, but I know she's bilingual in the sense that she is a former middle school principal, and she also works for FEMA, so she could speak our language to FEMA and vice versa. She was a translator, and we very much appreciate everything that she's done for us, and really excited to have her here today to represent FEMA and to share some of her thoughts related to her experience. Thank you, Libby.
Well, good morning. Thank you. It is truly my honor to be here. This is not my first visit back to Joplin since I left in the fall of 2011. And as Dr. Huff said, I came down on Thursday after the tornado, actually from Columbia, Missouri, where we already had staff working a number of disaster events throughout the state. So we sent a team down on Monday, and then I came down on Thursday. And over the course of many months after that, literally hundreds of staff from FEMA came and went from the city of Joplin. And I will tell you that not only is it not my first visit back, but you've had other FEMA folks here, right? We've kind of been in and out, and I think there are probably two reasons for that. I think one is that even though we work for the federal government, we're still people. And I have never been in a community, and I've been doing disaster work for almost 25 years, both with the Red Cross and FEMA, across the United States and its territories. But never in my career have I been as deeply or meaningfully impacted by any community as I was by Joplin. And I would tell you that, I would tell you that those same characteristics, the same values and character and insightfulness, forward thinking, determination, the taking of personal responsibility as individuals and as a community, those same traits are the ones that have enabled this building and these students and this staff to be here today. This is a culmination of those same characteristics. And I'll tell you that I've talked with a number of our staff in the years since the Joplin event, when I've met them in other places, Kentucky, Alaska, Nebraska, South Carolina, and almost without fail, the first thing we'll talk about is Joplin. Not their family, not how have you been, but how's it going in Joplin? What do you know? What do you hear? Because we were so impacted as individuals by you all that we met here. And the second reason that FEMA people like to come to Joplin is because we have so much to learn. And we continue to learn from your efforts and the things that you're doing here. I tell our staff that in my years of disaster relief work, it kind of comes down to three basic foundational things for me. One is that everything we do is about people, everything. Whether it's the financial assistance that we can give to people, the repairing of buildings and roads and bridges, most importantly schools, whatever it is, everything is ultimately about people. Everything we do is about community. It is about the communities in which those people live. And schools are a huge part of people being able to live and come back together in a community. And thirdly, everything we do is about recovery. The recovery, the rebuilding, the resilience that you all are building here, for you all as students, you don't even realize the impact that those things are having in your lives. And as you grow into adults and leaders in your community, and as you have families, and as you go out across the United States and possibly the world, the lessons that you've learned, the impacts on your lives of the recovery and the rebuilding from the Joplin tornado will impact you and will impact those communities. It already does, as those of us that experience this event go out and work in other operations and go out and speak to other groups about what happened in Joplin. I thank you for that. I thank you for the privilege of being even a small part of that response and the recovery and of the opportunity to be here today. Because I'll tell you, when our folks leave here, when they left here over that time, no matter what part of the country they came from or where they graduated from, without exception, I think every one of us secretly wanted to be a Joplin Eagle. So thank you. God bless you.
Well, today marks yet another momentous occasion for our community. Today we celebrate the reopening of another school in Joplin. But more importantly today, we celebrate the young men and women of East Middle School. What I would say to the young men and women of East Middle School is that today is really all about you. And I do hope you always remember this day. And I hope that someday you tell your children and your grandchildren what you learned on this day. That you learned just how much not only the people of Joplin, but the people of Missouri and the people of this nation love you. On the evening of May 23rd, 2011, just a little over 24 hours after our tragedy, I did a live interview with Greta Van Susteren on Fox News. The last question she asked me was this: what are you going to do now? I told her that Joplin is a great place to live and work, and that we were going to show the rest of the world what we're made of. And guess what? We did. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what I like. Not only did we show the world what can happen when a community comes together, we have also shown the world that in Joplin we love our kids and are willing to make whatever sacrifice to take care of our children, no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we would all agree that this building is beautiful. From day one, as a community, we have said we were going to build back a bigger, better Joplin. Folks, East Middle School is another glowing example of what bigger and better looks like. But this building is not what is going to make Joplin great. Don't get me wrong, this building is important. The rebuilding of the East Middle School is vital to the recovery of our community. But it's not all about the building. It's about the educators, the parents, and the community who will be supporting the children in this school. In essence, it's about the relationships that will be forged inside these walls. It always has been. At this time, I'd like to once again recognize the faculty and staff of East Middle School, along with the Bright Future Site Council members and parents of East Middle School. Would you please stand and be recognized? All of our parents, staff members, don't be shy. It took a tremendous amount of effort on the part of many, many people, which has brought us to this day. But now the real work begins. To the students of East Middle School, I ask that you never forget this day. And I ask that you can constantly seek to repay the debt of gratitude you owe this community who is raising you and the state and nation who has supported you. And when I ask you to repay your debt, I'm not talking about giving up your allowance or your lunch money. You owe it to the people who have sacrificed so much on your behalf to come to this school each and every day and learn. Yes, learn math, learn to love reading and writing, learn to understand and apply science concepts, and learn in social studies so you can appreciate our rich history and the many diverse cultures of this world. But I want you to learn more. Learn the difference between having character and being one. Learn that receiving is fun, but giving is rewarding. Learn that listening is communication, and that everything that you say is heard by someone. and you will be judged by your words and actions. And among other things, learn that service before self is very different than being self-serving. I can assure you that if you learn all these things and apply what you have learned, you will have repaid your debt to this community, state, and nation in its entirety. I can certainly tell you, I have learned a lot myself by watching you over the last several years. I'm a better person because of the students and educators of East Middle School. Our community is a stronger community because of you. I am so very proud of you. Mission accomplished. Eagles, welcome home.
While we're waiting for everybody to get in place, I have one question for you kids. Do you like your new school? You guys are some lucky kids. This almost makes me want to go back to school. Jim, I do have to say, congratulations and welcome to your new home. He's taking care of some things. Don't think that you're getting a new school every few years. This is the last one we're cutting. Guys, on behalf of the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce and the Ambassador, sponsored by Southwest Missouri Bank, we're very happy to be here to help you guys celebrate this new school. And you guys have been through so much and you deserve it. So enjoy it, learn, help Joplin become more so that when you have kids, they get opportunities like this. So thank you very much. Let's do, are you wanting to count down on 3 or are you ready? Kids, why don't you help us count it down? Go 3, 2, 1, we'll cut the ribbon. Ready?